Hello and welcome to the Your Revolution podcast. The Your Revolution podcast is a collaboration between Revolution Personal and Performance Training in Melbourne and the Me Project. The purpose of the Your Revolution podcast is to inspire you on your mission of betterment. Each week on the podcast, you'll meet game changers who have created extraordinary lives, and you'll listen to stories and lessons to empower you to make the changes necessary to your life. The Your Revolution podcast is committed to fitness, health, nutrition, mindset, community, education, empowerment, and betterment, and we hope that you can take what you learn here and apply it to your very own revolution.
Welcome to episode 97 of the Your Revolution podcast with me, Luke Scott. This week we are interviewing Nathan Tieppo from Momentum Performance Training in Port Melbourne. To access our bonus content from this episode, head to revopt.com.au/podcast, where you can access your free 4-week training program and other exclusive podcast content. That's revopt.com.au/podcast. Now it's on to the episode. Okay, we are here for episode 97 here at Momentum Performance Training in Port Melbourne with Nathan Tieppo, the head honcho here. Nathan is a university graduate, strength and conditioning professional, personal trainer and group trainer, seminar speaker, educator and motivator. Anything I've forgotten?
Just about covers it.
Just about covers it. Beautiful. Nathan is the head honcho, as I said, here with his sidekick Nicole at Momentum Performance Training, along with Odie, who's across there on his dog bed. You might be able to see him in some of the footage. We'll make sure he's in the video.
Worn out from watching us train.
He's had a big morning so far. Hopefully you're going to get a chance to check out the YouTube clip that's associated with this. It'll obviously be on Facebook as well. Nathan's just put me through a bit of a torturing workout here this morning, his FYF session. In the video he explains what that's about, which is Fuck Your Friday. Today we had, what was on the menu, Nath?
Skeg relay with some sled push. So it was 10,000 metres between three of us. Body weight sled push for 15 metres. Change every time we hit that 15 metres.
It's pretty horrible. I survived. I managed to keep my breakfast in. Was very happy with that. Then we've nailed a nice burger to refuel and back into the podcast today. So really wanted to interview Nathan as one of the first people that I took over with for the podcast. Nathan's been a big part of what Revolution Personal Training has become. Someone I've known for probably about 13 or 14 years now. It's been a long time. I've had to put up with him. He's been a huge part of what we've been able to evolve and become, and I'm super happy with the success that he's been able to achieve with Momentum, which is his own business. Nathan and I met about 13 or 14 years ago playing football at St Albans in the western suburbs here of Melbourne. Pretty soon after that, he was one of the first additions to the Revolution team, and I've seen him grow into one of Melbourne's best strength and conditioning coaches, someone with a loyal and hardworking following and community of his own. Nathan, first of all, welcome. Tell us what Momentum Performance Training is all about.
Well, yeah, we're just basically a community of people that we've tried to create that are just here to work hard, better themselves. The whole momentum thing is gradually just getting better and better and better, and as things get better and better, they just keep rolling on and improving. So
awesome.
Yeah, that's what we try to do with everyone here. It's from the moment you walk into the doors to the moment, like eventually, hopefully people never leave, but when they do, they're a lot better.
What type of people do you work with here? Who are your clientele? What sort of people what people make up that community?
Got a bit of a mixture of everything. So everything from just your everyday mums. Nicole runs a mums class, so obviously, mums have the right to be their best too. So strength and conditioning for them, through to some athletes. So we've got some recreational athletes that play footy. We've got some surfboat rowers. Just some people that are looking to achieve their best in their given sport and want to work hard and get fitter and stronger for that.
Yep. Quickly on the St Albans Football Club, I hear some rumours that you might be back playing again this year. Is that true?
It's still on the cards. I'm just waiting for pre-season to finish so I can just rock straight into round one. And
people who know Nathan well will understand that he's probably not that keen on doing the running work these days.
We'll see how that goes. Just, I guess, kind of flat out at the moment. So if we can fit it in, I'd love to.
Yep.
But just see if this whole body can hold up to it.
Old man. You might be able to play some super rules or something like that.
Holding out for that. So
that's it. You have to get a fake ID.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned in the last episode, I've actually next weekend got my first Masters level competition, so it's a sad day.
Speaking of which, I heard a little rumour you might be playing some Masters footy this year.
One of our mutual clients is trying his best to get me across the board there, so we'll see what happens. Doubtful. Yeah, he's a persistent man. So most people will know you, or the people that do follow you on social media, I guess, which is hopefully a lot of the people that are going to be listening to this, are going to be people that know you as the jacked strength athlete. But many of these people won't know that you're also an Ironman, and I don't mean the superhero version of the Ironman, although you're pretty well that as well. Yeah. But you completed the Melbourne Ironman. Tell us a little bit about your journey to complete that, and then how have you gotten to where you're at today?
Yeah, I suppose, what would it be, like 6 years ago, started to get into like a little bit of cycling and caught the bug. So just, ended up, I think we did a few 150k rides together and we did the Ironman as a team one year, which you actually did the ride for that. And I did the swim. And I guess things just kind of kept snowballing from there, like just kind of got the bug. And I think the year we did it as a team, I had a bit of Ironman fever, so the next week registered myself to do the individual one.
Keep the momentum up.
And then, just built into that over the course of, probably 12 months with some swimming and obviously cycling and running. But it was a tough kind of gig. There's a lot of hours that has to go into preparation, so managing like full-time work, training, and like, I guess, not so much family life, but relationships outside of that at the time. Just managing all that was a lot of work.
Injuries along the way as well. I know you struggled a little bit with something that's been pretty persistent, like a calf through that. Yeah,
just had a lot of calf issues, which is one of the reasons why I ended up stopping playing footy in the first place a couple of years ago as well. So not sure the exact, I guess, pathology of it, but basically it's almost like a severe cramp or spasm, so all my calves just eventually lock up. I can't really run continuously after that.
Which makes it tough trying to get through 42Ks.
But then like 2 or 3 days I'm fine, 2 or 3 days later I'm fine. So especially on the long runs I was doing, just managing that and breaking it up in terms of maybe running for 2Ks, walk for 500 metres, run for 2Ks, walk 100 metres. Just as all building into things, and it was just more about covering the time and the distances required as opposed to really focusing on getting it done in X amount of time and just getting the volume into the legs, especially in training in the lead up.
And what did you learn about yourself through that process? So I'm assuming doing an event that takes you, I don't want to put too much of a addition onto your time here, I think around about, say, 11 hours, 10 and a bit?
Technically, I think it was 10 and a half, but they did cut the swim a little bit short that year, so...
None of your doing, like obviously you can't.
Yeah, I didn't choose the conditions. So,
That's right.
But probably would have been around just that a tick over 11 hours that I probably would have been tracking for.
So anyone doing anything for that amount of time, you've got plenty of time in your own head where you can learn a lot about yourself. Did you find that doing that event, doing something like that, and enabled you to really build a lot of mental fortitude, strength? That's Odie as well. You might hear him.
It's great. He wants
in.
Little piece. Yeah, definitely. Like it's, as I say, there's a lot of hours put into training and focusing. It was 4 hours of running followed by 6 hours of cycling on every weekend for 6 months, and then on the day when it was actually 11 hours of work, it's just you inside your own head and talking to yourself and making sure you can kind of push through, and just knowing that there is a finishing line in sight and breaking it down and just ticking it off 1K after the next the next.
So those mini goals that make up the big event.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of how I got through it, and just focusing on what's right in front of your face, and eventually it breaks out into the big picture.
So from there, did you find then that once you got through an event like that workouts like today that then go for 40 minutes start to become easy? Is that something that you learned through that Ironman process, that, like applying yourself to something for 11 hours, then anything, like obviously stuff is going to get intense at any point. You're going to find that things are hard. You have to go within yourself. Workouts when you're pushing yourself to that point of wanting to give up is when you learn most about yourself. But you were able to then really put things into perspective. When you're doing something for 40 minutes, when you've been in the Hurt Locker for 11 hours, it doesn't seem that bad. Yeah,
when you're doing something for 11 hours, that's a freaking long time. So knowing something like today that's only goes for 40 minutes, like it is going to end. It might hurt for now, but if you can kind of just put up with the suffering and endure it, then it is going to be over. Over eventually. But the thing, especially the FYF sessions we like to do, it's kind of the sessions that you don't really want to be doing on your own. It's that team-based kind of thing. So with today's one, knowing that someone else was relying on you to actually get your ass off the ski, get on that sled, get it done quickly, so they're not there just putting all the work in while you're bludging on the side and resting. And
that team aspect is really what brings the best out of people sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, which is something we like to create in here, especially for our general population clients. So a lot of our sport-specific clients and the athletes that we train in here, they get that on the weekend when they're playing footy and racing their surfboat. They've got those team-based kind of things around them that they're training for, so they can get that when they're actually competing. For the everyday person that doesn't have that, like sessions like this are, I guess, their way of really competing in something and having that motivation to push on because someone else is relying on them to do something.
Yeah, definitely. University at Vic Uni, double degree in sports administration and exercise science. Strength and conditioning coaching, personal training. You also spent a lot of time at the Port Melbourne VFL team. Obviously, those experiences working at the real pointy end of performance helps you on a day-to-day basis then with your clientele here in the gym. Are you finding that there's a big difference between people that are really performance focused and your general population, or treating them all the same because of regardless where you're at? Do you find that really helps people push forward in their day-to-day life, or do you really treat those performance people and your general pop people differently?
In terms of mindset and the way we approach training with them, it's we treat them all the same. The only difference might be, as I was saying, like those sport-specific guys, they've got a sport to play on the weekend, so we're probably not going to do a session like today with them because it's going to destroy them and they're not going to be able to perform optimally when they actually need to. But yeah, in terms of the way they approach training, everyone has a goal they're training for, a result they want to achieve. So it's our job to get them from point A, work towards those goals to achieve them as best as possible and as quickly as possible. Like the fitter and stronger we can get anyone, the better they're going to be at their sport, at life, at anything they decide to throw their hat in the ring.
Absolutely. And do you see people come in here and getting them fitter and getting them stronger, you see how that really transfers? I know this is something that I really notice with everybody that comes into the gym. As they start that process, training starts to become a real motivator for them to achieve a lot outside of the gym as well. Do you find that happens a lot in here?
Absolutely. Like we've got where we're located, there's a couple of offices and like corporate buildings around. So we get guys that they sit at a desk all day and have never really moved before. They come in here, start training, and then start achieving some great results in here, getting stronger, getting fitter, hitting some good numbers with all their strength and on the ergs and that sort of stuff. And then that propels them to want to do the 10K run or a marathon or like around the bay in a day or something like that.
Or even more in their professional life.
Yeah, and just pushing, like the more you can achieve here, it just creates that whole performance mindset of like, if I actually put the work in, the results are what follows.
And like what happens in a workout like that, like it might suck while you're doing the work for that amount of time, but there's always an end goal. There's always, you can set yourself those small little goals, get through each effort, and it's the same with work, the same with your professional life, the same in training. You can get through those little tough spots and see the light at the end of the tunnel. You spent quite a lot of time in Salt Lake City working through your Jim Jones certification. Tell us a little bit about that whole journey.
Yeah, well, it started probably first come across Jim Jones 10 years ago when they were doing the stuff for the 300 movie. My brother was a bit of a movie buff, so he was like researching all the info they were putting out around that time, and I was training with him at just a Globo gym at the time, just doing our meathead workouts back then, and he started showing me a few of the things those guys were doing, and like I was kind of got stuck into it from there, and loved doing, I guess, that more functional based training then, which kind of progressed onto, I guess, a lot of the functional stuff we used to do. But then kind of lost Jim Jones for 5 or 6 years until they were running their fundamentals course in Perth. It was back in 2013. So I thought it was a great opportunity to actually get back into it and find out what their nuts and bolts were really all about, and things just kind of snowballed from there. I love the way they train, the philosophy behind it, and found a lot of what they did, it was stuff I already knew and I was doing at the time. I just never put two and two together as to the how and why and the philosophy behind it, but it kind of just encompassed everything that I was already doing and I believed in, and it was kind of there on paper and
created that framework for you to follow.
Yeah, it just helped me align myself with, I guess, something that I really enjoyed being a part of.
Yeah, and probably put you in touch with a whole heap of like-minded people within the industry as well, I imagine.
Yeah, especially from that first day, there's still a few guys that I've kind of went through the whole process with that, we still keep in contact now, and like whenever they're in town or I head out to Sydney or anything like that, it's always good to catch up and put ourselves through a little bit of a workout that ends in someone wanting to feel like they're going to spew. But it's always good fun. And it's also just the trips out to Salt Lake City have been good the last couple of years. It gives me an excuse to take a break and unwind and mentally relax while doing something I still really enjoy doing, furthering my own knowledge and like networking with other people in the industry who are pushing, I guess, the cutting edge and
pushing the boundaries.
Pushing the boundaries of what people are actually capable of.
She was here when I arrived today. Nicole, your partner, as well as someone who you work with very closely day to day. It must have its challenges some days, but overwhelmingly it seems like it works pretty well between the two of you. I know I'm not sure if I would be cut out to do it, but do you have any tips for anybody looking to do the same, work with their partner?
Don't do it.
Don't do it. I'll put that in the notes today.
No, it's actually really good. So before Nicole started working with us, she was in a bit more of a corporate office job and just hated every minute of it. So actually us working together has been a lot. It's good for our relationship. It's good knowing that every little bit of work we put in is creating something bigger for ourselves. And I think it also helps strike a nice balance between the training styles that we can offer here.
It's a very different background to you, hasn't she?
She's got a big dance background, so she's been dancing since she was about 3, and she just uses the strength training she does in the gym to help her dancing and get her fitter and stronger for that, which is, I guess, that sports specific kind of stuff as well. But then she does also have a softer, more friendly touch than me, so especially she relates really well to a lot of the women and the mums that come in here, whereas I prefer working with a lot of like the footy guys and the athletes and the people that are, I guess, already immersed in fitness and are ready to work hard and be pushed, whereas she's can be that more guiding touch behind getting people to that point where they're ready to excel from there.
Beautiful. What is the future direction of Momentum? Where do you want to see things heading over the next couple of years?
We really want to establish ourselves here and get as many people into our classes as possible, and I guess become one of the leaders in not only athletic conditioning but just conditioning the general population to be the fittest and strongest they can be. From there, I guess we haven't really worked out the exact kind of 5-year plan sort of thing, but whether it's more locations or doing something more online or some way to reach more people than having a physical location. You've got a bit of a small kind of locality market. So just being able to reach more people and expand on what we offer to the greater population as opposed to just the people that can actually make it.
And on that, I guess as well, if you're interested in training with Nathan, I'll add to this episode website details and that sort of stuff. He's more than welcome to reach out, ask him any questions. You can find him on Instagram at Tieppo or Momentum PT, and website is
momentumpersonaltraining.com.au.
Beautiful. So he's more than happy to field any questions or queries about the business if you want to get in here and train with Nathan, or if you just want to say g'day and ask him any questions about anything we touched on today, he'd love you to. What is your training philosophy in a nutshell? Obviously, all of this background and experience that you've had, this is a question that you could probably riff on for the next 3 or 4 hours, but in a nutshell, keeping things brief, your training philosophy?
Just work hard and the results will come. Like, it's all a process, so
trust the process.
Consistency is king.
It's true. What's the number one thing you'd like someone to get out of training here at Momentum?
Feeling better about themselves and their life than when they walked in.
What's the best thing about working in the fitness industry? Early mornings. Got to be early mornings.
That's high up there, but probably just that feeling you get when someone there's a moment with a lot of clients when things just actually start clicking for them, and seeing that change from them being unsure about everything to actually knowing that they're confident and capable of achieving things is a massive bonus whenever anyone hits that point.
Yeah. And like we touched on before, that really does permeate throughout their whole life as well, that feeling. So it's about confidence, it's about belief in their own abilities, it's about, and you can just see it in how people, as you say, walk into the gym each day. Like when they hit that point of believing in themselves, it's an absolute, I would say, revolution in how they live their life. So the next thing I just wanted to touch on was on probably carrying on from Jim Jones. You're one of their seminar leaders now here in Melbourne. Next time they're back here at Momentum is when?
End of May, so we're actually doubling up this time. So we're going to have a fundamentals the last weekend in May, which off the top of my head is the 26th and 27th. And then the following weekend will be the intermediate, so the 1st and 2nd of June.
Yep.
So hopefully get a few people either coming in for the fundamentals and or both off there. So looking forward to that weekend. It's always fun.
Coming in and learning a lot about their philosophies and even the way that Nathan trains people and gets these results out of people. So carrying on from a historical question that Jane used to love to ask everybody, what is your purpose?
Or to help myself and everyone around me to be better every day.
Beautiful, concise, probably better than I did. So then moving forward, if you listened to last week's episode, I know that Nathan said he did. Anyone else out there who did know that a new thing I'm adding to these podcast episodes are my 20 questions. So brief, we're going to punch through them. One word answer.
I'm good at brief.
Brief is good. One word answers are good. One word answers. So question 1, deadlift or squat? Deadlift, I knew that. I'm going to know most of these answers, I think. Bench press or pull-up?
Bench press.
Ski or row?
Ooh, ski.
Row or ride?
Row.
Ride or ski?
Ski.
Swim, bike or run?
None of the above.
None of the above? None.
Like if you condense it all down really quick, it's one word.
So definitely evolved from your Ironman days.
For now.
Evolved or devolved? I don't know. Yeah. Best burger in Melbourne?
Ooh, Melbourne. I'm going to go against the grain. I actually really like grilled at the moment.
Ooh. Coffees or smoothies?
Coffees in smoothies?
Ooh, we can do this.
There's a bit of a theme here. I'm not great at choices, so I generally go with everything.
Smoothies or beers?
Smoothies.
Burgers or beers?
Burgers.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Red or blue?
Blue.
St Albans or Tullamarine? This is a loaded question.
Yeah, St Albans boy at heart, mate.
There you go. Long story there. This is an in-joke. Any of our personal friends listening to this will know the backstory to that. Speaking of backline, midfield or backline?
Midfield.
Midfield or forward?
Ooh. Prefer forward, but cannot kick a goal to save my life, so midfield.
In there for your frontal pressure, I think they call that these days. Handball or kick?
Kick.
Handball or tackle?
Tackle.
Tackle or run?
Tackle.
Talk or train?
Train.
Collingwood, question mark, open-ended question. One word answer.
I got nothing.
Nothing's probably the right answer. Last question, there was a few AFL questions in there, so for any of our international listeners, it might be a little bit confusing, but anyway, do all you can to learn a little bit more about the Australian Football League. And that's wrapping up today's episode. You can get in touch, as we said, with Nathan at momentumpersonaltraining.com.au, or you can find him on Instagram at Tieppo, so that's N-T-I-E-P-P-O, or at momentumpt on Instagram. Anything else you want to add?
Just as you said, if you got any questions or want to come in and train, definitely get in touch. We'd love to have anyone and everyone in. It's always good when people from outside pop in for a visit or join us for FYF.
There you go.
Especially the first one.
Open invitation.
Never forget your first time. So
that's it. Beautiful. Thanks very much, Nathan.
No worries. Thank you, mate.
We hope you enjoyed episode 97 of the Your Revolution podcast. Don't forget to head to revopt.com.au/podcast to access this episode's exclusive content. Once again, that's revopt.com.au/podcast. Thanks for listening.